7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, it is time to start Iron Flame. Look how gorgeous it is. But also the leaves outside the window are really pretty. I love fall. But this cover is just gorgeous. So ready to start. And once again, the inside has the map, which I love books that do that, that give you the map. And that was one of the things that drew me to Fourth Wing in the first place. I really loved the end papers, and I really loved the map on the outside. And just like last time, this has a blurb at the front. It's almost nearly identical to Fourth Wing, actually, about it being a non-stop thrilling adventure. And it looks like we're getting some information about, this is probably going to be about the war. So I'm going to dig on in. And I'm using a Alice in Wonderland bookmark. I got another one for my birthday. The little tabs that Amanda got me, I have been struggling with because I'm a klutz, and I don't even know if you can see the mark on there. And I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't use that for this. So I went with an Alice in Wonderland one that I have. All right, I literally just started, but I wanted to say I am so glad that it started right where they left off. So glad. So I'm doing some reading before I go to work, and there was a part that made me smile because I don't think Rebecca goes online and sees all of the theories, and I don't know, maybe she did for Fourth Wing. But one of the theories online that everyone kept talking about was how Violet's mom can control the weather, and when Violet was on the parapet, there was the incredible storm that nearly killed her. But there's a line that I just read, and she talks about her mom, and she said she wouldn't call the storm to kill me like a coward, but she sure as hell wouldn't stop it to save me either. So I wondered if she either was talking to all those that think, or trying to throw us off too. I don't know. I still don't trust her mom so much, so let's see.
Hey guys, hello. I'm so excited because I got my copy of Iron Flame, and I did pre-order the book, but it is not coming in the mail until Monday. It released Tuesday, and I have to wait almost a whole week after release date to get it in the mail. So I did what probably all of you guys that pre-ordered the book did. I went out and bought a copy at the store because I did not want to wait. I'm still going to get my copy in the mail, and I might return it, or I might try to sell it or something, but I'm so excited. I started reading this a little bit yesterday. I'm sorry I didn't film it. I just wasn't really feeling very good yesterday, but I only got to chapter 3, so I'm currently on chapter 3, and at first, like, picking up the book, the second book in the series after reading Fourth Wing, it took me like a couple of pages to really get back into the story. But now that I'm back in the story, all the events from the first book are coming back to me, and I'm just really excited to keep reading this. I do have to edit our Brittany vlog today, so I do have to spend time editing instead of reading, but I am going to read just a couple of chapters before I start filming, or before I start editing the Brittany vlog, which will already be out before you see this. So if you missed our vlog on Britney Spears' new book, The Woman in Me, then I can link it up here in the description, or you can just go back to our channel, and the most previous vlog will probably be the Brittany vlog. So here we go, continue reading Iron Flame. after reading the first 3 chapters, now on chapter 4, I'm going to say the book starts off exactly where the last one left off. So right where Fourth Wing ends, you pick up in Iron Flame. I was really hoping for more information from the brother, Brendan. I wanted to get more out of him. I think there's probably more coming, so I'm not terribly disappointed. I suspect there'll be a lot more information about him and what he's been doing and the plans. But I will say that you're learning a lot more about the dragons, which I'm happy about. You're learning more about how they grow and develop, what kind of powers they have, how things change, how they protect their young, so and kind of their origins even. So I'm happy with the information that's being dripped out about the dragons. We're learning a lot more about them, and you're also learning that the college professors and the military people, like the mom in this book running the world, do not know a lot about the dragon. Actually, Violet knows a lot more about them now than even the scribes and the leaders do. So there's that, and I'm excited to see what more she learns and what she does with that knowledge.
I gotta say something else that I read a big chunk, but I am loving the dragon content. I'm loving everything that's going on with Andarna. I think it's so funny that Andarna is like a toddler dragon, or not toddler, teenager dragon, and explaining the process of how dragons develop. I love it. And then the scene with the one-eyed orange dragon, I'm loving it. I love the dragon parts. I didn't think I would ever really love, content about dragons, but I'm loving it. The end of chapter 9, something sudden happens, and out of nowhere, you don't expect it to happen. I don't know if we're doing spoilers in this, but wow, just out of nowhere, something violent happens. Alrighty. So something is nagging me about Dane, and I don't know what it is. I keep going back and forth on what's going on with this character and Violet and in the overall scheme of things. I mean, I feel like, yes, he is probably really not someone to be trusted, but I feel like there's something gonna happen with him. Like, I don't know if it's going to go back to, oh, we can trust him, and then go back to, oh, no, you can't again, or something. I just feel like we're being built up with something. And I don't know what. We'll see. Something I'm noticing at the beginning of the chapter, I know it kind of is a theme for that chapter, but something in here, I don't think this was in Fourth Wing. It says recovered correspondence between Xaden and Violet, and there was a scene where she didn't get any mail from Xaden, so I don't know, I'm a little confused. Maybe that's like an Easter egg or something that I'm missing, or maybe I just didn't get to the part yet that you find out they are corresponding, but I just noticed that.
Hey y'all, I have been reading Iron Flame, and we have just a little bit to talk about. I'm going to take the jacket off because I just can't stand the jackets. Anyways, so I am currently on chapter 13, page 123, and I am just starting to get really into this book. It started kind of slow just because, and this is my fault, but just because I was trying to remember a lot of the details of Fourth Wing, and I really, really wish that I had read Fourth Wing just before getting this on Tuesday and starting to read it, because it refers to a lot of the events that happened in Fourth Wing, and a lot of the names and stuff. Like, y'all know I'm not good with names. but trying to remember exactly who all these characters are and what their roles are and who's related, you know, how they're all linked and related is just like, it's just been kind of taking me a minute to get back into it. So I really wish I had read Fourth Wing first. Right before this one, obviously we read Fourth Wing and did a whole full reading vlog on it back in May, I think, of this year. So, I mean, it's been probably like 7 months or so since I read Fourth Wing. And although, obviously, I remember all the major things, just some of the minor things that they reference in here, I'm kind of like trying to like refresh my memory on. So yeah, the book just starts off right where the last one leaves. You're on a cliffhanger and at the end of Fourth Wing, and it picks up right there, so you start right off. Although I did not get a lot of my questions answered as far as the cliffhanger. I don't want to spoil anything. I know everybody's probably already read Fourth Wing. It's probably not going to be a spoiler for anybody. But at the end, Violet runs into someone she was not expecting. We'll just say that. And she does get to continue her conversation with this person in the beginning of Iron Flame. However, none of my questions were really, truly, fully answered. So I'm hoping that happens a little later in this book. Also, another thing that I am kind of struggling with this book so far is Violet is mad at Xaden, and it's driving me nuts because she's not really mad at him. She's not really, like, she says feels like she can't really trust him. And I just think that's a bunch of garbage. I just hate when characters in books, and especially romances, like, deny themselves the pleasure of being around people that they want to be around and interacting with people that they love because of something stupid. And it's just like, I get it, you know, oh, I can't trust you, but obviously she's still way in love with him. Obviously she wants to be around him. She's thinking about him constantly. And yet she's being like, no, just stay away. Just no. Until you can tell me every single thing, then, you know, we're not gonna be together. That's like, ugh, come on. I don't like that in books, especially romance books. The like tension and angst and stuff, I just don't like it. I'm just much happier when the characters together and they are just taking on the world together and they're happy. And I love reading about the interactions that they have when they are around each other and their feelings, but just, I'm ready for them. And I will say, up to page 123, they are starting to be honest with each other again about their feelings. And that's all I'll say about that. I mean, they're starting to come around. So I'm just hoping that this entire book is not Violet being like, oh, I can't trust you. And Xaden being like, yes, you can, but I just can't tell you everything, and then being apart. Like, I can't take that. So, anywho, I plan on reading a huge chunk of this book today. I really would like to finish it today, but we're talking like, you know, 400 pages I'm going to have to read. So, don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm going to get a lot of it done today, and we will see. I am going to snuggle up on my couch. I got a comfy crew neck sweatshirt on that I love. Got some water, and I'm gonna get some reading done. wondering about here, the same thing is in Fourth Wing. You'll notice, like, at the top of every chapter, there's a little information section, I guess, where there's quotes or clips from a piece of literature. Or in Fourth Wing, Violet's brother, she has his journal and she reads his journal, and there's clippets of things that he wrote in his journal. And on the top of these chapters, there is a little snippet of a letter that Xaden gave to Violet. And in the book, he does hand Violet a handwritten letter explaining some things about himself to her. And so in these little snippets at the top, says a little information about Xaden that he wrote to Violet. So in chapter 12, it says, Sagal watched me kill another cadet for bullying Garrick during the threshing. She says she chose me for my ruthlessness, but I think I just remind her of my grandfather. And then underneath, you can see that it comes from recovered correspondence of Lieutenant Xaden Rorson to Cadet Violet Sorengel. So since it says recovered correspondence, I'm just wondering, somehow this letter that Xaden gave Violet is going to get lost and someone is going to recover it. And I don't know, you don't know who that is or why it's going to get lost or what all is in the letter. You just have that one little sentence. And then there's another sentence from the letter in chapter 13 at the top. And it says, oh no, that's from Article 5, Section 7, Dragon Riders Codex. I thought there was two. Maybe it was chapter 11. But anyway, so there's snippets of this letter. Yeah, so chapter 11 also has a little snippet of this letter, and it says recovered correspondence. And I'm not sure. I mean, I think that's a clue as to something that's going to happen later in the book. So if you're reading through this book, or you've probably already read the book, I feel a little behind. I mean, I've had this book for about 5 days now. I just haven't had a lot of time to read. So you've probably read this book and know what's going on, but I just found that really interesting at the top of the chapters.
Reading some more before I go to work, and I'm about to start chapter 19. And before I say what I was going to say about this, so Andarna hasn't been showing up for what they call maneuvers or flight maneuvers, because Andarna's basically like a teenager and still growing and needs her sleep. I'm pretty sure Andarna's a she. Anyway, so there's an instructor that is not happy about it, and Violet has had to lie about what Andarna's doing because I think it's a violation for her to have Andarna as a younger dragon, I think. I don't know if I'm completely understanding that, but the beginning of this chapter, one sec. So what I wanted to say is the beginning of this chapter says dragons do not answer to the whims of men, and I can guarantee something violent is most likely going to happen. I just remembered the reason why they're hiding what's happening with Andarna needing to be in the sleep to fully grow through like a teenage year portion of being a dragon is Andarna with the power to stop time. No one official knew that Andarna had that power. And I remember from Fourth Wing that if anyone found out that Andarna had that power, that I think Andarna would be taken or killed or something like that. That's the part I'm not completely sure on. But that's why Andarna why they're trying to hide what's going on with Andarna. And the instructor keeps punishing Violet for not bringing Andarna, and Taryn says that he's going to take care of it. In the beginning of this chapter, I just feel like it's probably going to get violent.
WTF? Violet is like being tortured and no one can do anything about it. Like, Taryn can't just incinerate this guy or tell his dragon to tell him to stop or anything. Like, they're just letting this happen. Like, she is being tortured almost to death, and it's just happening. It just seems weird. Just weird. I don't know. I don't like it.
So I am off today, and so I have a date with Iron Flame. I think I'm going to end up reading a lot today, even though I've been saying I'm going kind of slow, and I really don't want to run into the bad parts, because I know there's going to be someone who dies or someone who is going to make things just, So I'm going to read, but it's the kind of cold day, and I have the most comfortable blanket. I love this thing. It has I think it's Sherpa. And I'm just going to curl on the couch and do some reading and get a big chunk done today.
You guys, I love this world. I love these books. I just want to say, I'm just sitting here reading, and I'm just getting really immersed in the story again. And I just love it. I love this world. I love these characters. I love the dragons and their sarcasm and their different little personalities. I love the action and the intense moments, and I just really am enjoying my time reading this book right now. And I was just thinking, Fourth Wing came out, and then about 7-8 months later, Iron Flame has come out. I know that Rebecca Yarros is going to do at least a couple of more installments in this series, so I know there's more books coming, but when? How long are we going to have to wait for the third book and then the fourth book? I'm just, already anxious. I haven't even finished Iron Flame, but I'm already anxious to know when we're going to get the third book.
All right, that chapter wasn't as violent or a huge development happen as I thought, but I really feel like it's foreshadowing something, with Tarn most likely going to step in and possibly murder someone who's giving Violet a hard time. All right, I am getting to page 200, and this last chapter that I'm reading is about Violet and Xaden spending some time together. And there's a lot of angst between the two of them because she doesn't trust him for what he kept from her. And he's really trying to gain that trust back. And he really wants her to say those 3 words. And I'm loving the scenes with them, which I really hope that nothing happens to break them apart. But I just have a bad feeling that something's going to either end on a cliffhanger with these two, almost like last time. But there's this one part, and I don't know if any of this, I'm hoping if someone's watching this and they don't want spoilers, they have to know, because I've been avoiding everything when it comes to any kind of content with Iron Flame, because you never know what you're going to stumble into and you can't take it back. So here's a warning that I'm going to read something from the book. If you don't want to hear anything, then definitely fast forward or go away from the video. But I really wanted to share this part that I loved because I love it so much. One sec. This is the part I was talking about that he says to her, "You want to give me those 3 little words." And then he says, when she doesn't respond, "I thought not. Sleep, Violet." And then he says, "You love me." And she responds, "Stop reminding me." But this is the part that got me. And he says, Maybe you're not the one I'm reminding. I read that and I was like, oh, I really just want these two to be together because I just love them together so much. So I'm hoping, I almost am like going slower cautiously because I really don't want anything to happen to these two. Okay, not too far after the part I had just recorded about Xaden and Violet and the I love you part, there is a weird scene, in my opinion, with Dane, because Dane. I don't think anybody really likes Dane, but there's something going on deeper, obviously, there. And what he tells Violet, I'm sure it's most likely being manipulative, but I'm starting to worry if there's something that she really can't trust about Xaden. I don't know if what he told Violet about her mom and what's on Xaden's back is real, if he's telling the truth. So I guess I'll see.
Hey guys, I have a reading update. I did not get as far as I wanted to yesterday. I originally wanted to get most of the book done, if not all of the book done, and I am only on page 202, which is chapter 21, so that plan didn't work out. I don't know what's wrong, but for some reason, I've been just very distracted lately when I'm reading. It's not the book. Like, I love the book. I'm interested in the book. I actually want to keep reading the book, but as soon as I sit down and try to focus on reading, something else comes into my mind, something else I need to do, or something else I need to take care of, or something else I need to check, and I get distracted. I don't know what is wrong with me right now. It feels kind of like a reading slump because I'm not getting the books read as fast as I would like, as quickly, or at a pace that I like, or that I want to. Like, I want to sit and read this book, but for some reason when I sit down to do it, my mind just goes other places. Anyways, so it's not like a reading slump, it's just, I don't know, I'm distracted. But anyways, just a few more things to note. So I found out that Xaden didn't actually know what was going on as far as the torturing goes with Violet. It's just like, to me though, it just seems like, how could he not know? Because her dragon knew, and her dragon's connected to his dragon, so his dragon knew, so he should have known. I don't know. It just seems like, I'm just like, can't believe that it's weeks later and he's just now like finding out about it. It seems weird. But anyways, it's also annoying that, and I'm sorry if you consider this a spoiler. I don't think it's a spoiler. I'm not going to spoil everything, but Violet and Xaden are being kept apart with these assignments they have to be on, and it's just really annoying because, especially because they only see each other every now and then, and they're only allowed to because their dragons have to see each other. And then when they do see each other, Violet is all like, "Nah, I'm mad at you," and it's just like, it's just, I don't know. I don't want that tension between them. I want them to be together, enjoy their time together, be happy, and that's what I want to read about. I want to read about them two like going on their adventures and doing things and fighting this enemy that they have. So sorry if that's a little spoilery, but I don't think it is. I think if you read the book or plan on reading the book, I don't think that spoiled anything necessarily. But yeah, we have a little further to go. And I am about probably a third of the way through the book. I do hope to get a lot of reading done today. I have a couple of hours this afternoon that I think I can set aside to do some reading. So hopefully I'll get more done and have some more updates for you guys.
Okay, for some reason, I originally thought that in this book, I don't know why, I just feel like she's going to end up like killing off characters or a character that we love, hopefully not more than one. But these scenes with Violet and her best friend Rhiannon, or Rhi, I just got to a part where Ree starts guessing some of the stuff that could be happening, and Violet really wants to tell her, but also knows that puts Ree's life in jeopardy. And I just got such a bad feeling that something's going to happen to Rhiannon in this book. And I feel like I'm going so slow because I am just scared. Like, it's what you do with when you have watching a really scary movie and you're just like covering your eyes because you know something bad's going to happen. And that's how I feel like when I'm reading this. So I'm so scared to keep going, but I guess I'm gonna keep going. Okay, as soon as Xaden's cousin Bodhi, I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, Bodhi dropped the name Catriona as a woman from Xaden's past, I knew something else was gonna come up about that. And now, just when Violet was with Xaden at the drop-off point, meeting with Griffin riders, and the one woman refers to the other young woman as Cat, I was like, oh, that is Catriona, and something's gonna happen. And then it ends on the chapter of, yes, that is Catriona, and I hope we get to find out more of the tea on that. I'm curious. So this is the playlist that Rebecca Yarros made on Spotify. And she said she listened to these songs as she wrote Iron Flame. And she has a lot of great songs on here. A lot of Taylor Swift, which I absolutely approve of that. I love Taylor Swift. I love that song, I Can See You, that she released from the new Speak Now Taylor's version. And a lot of songs I don't really know, but the one that I really loved on here, I don't know how much I can really play without it being a issue for YouTube copyright issues, but this one called Breathe by Flurry Tommy Prophet, beautiful haunting song, fits the book perfectly. I will show the Instagram post that she did that she talked about the playlist and telling people to go look at it. But if you haven't checked it out, I would suggest. There's a lot of good songs on here, and I thought it was interesting that she posted those songs that she listened to while she wrote Iron Flame.
Hey guys, so I'm sitting in my car because I'm waiting on someone, and I'm reading my book because of course I bring it with me. I've thought about getting the ebook through the Nook store so I can have it on my tablet and easier to carry and hold, but I don't know, for some reason I just feel like I have bought enough copies of this book. So because I have two. I have one that I pre-ordered, which I still have not received yet, and then I have one that I went and bought on release day, since I wasn't getting the one that I pre-ordered in time. So anyways, I'm reading, and I just love this little part. Oh, let me find it. I just love this little part right here. Violet and Xaden are talking with each other in their heads, and Violet says, I'm not going to spoil anything, so I'm just going to read just a few of the words that she says. She says, you can't protect me from this any more than you could threshing. You know it's true. And Xaden says, you weren't mine at threshing. That's just so cute. And then of course it goes on and Violet ruins it because she's still like, nah, I'm mad at you. But whatever. Alright, so I'm just going to continue reading, and I will update you when I have some more thoughts.
So I'm about halfway through Iron Flame, and I happened to see on Rebecca Yarros' Instagram page that she posted a Spotify list of what she listened to while writing Iron Flame. And maybe I shouldn't have listened to that before I'm finished, because I'm now having a lot of serious anxiety of what's gonna happen. And I already was worried what was gonna happen because, you know, who's she killing off, etc. But I was listening to the lyrics for one of the songs, well actually the first two songs, Rolling in the Deep by Adele and that one alone with the lyrics, we could have had it all. And then Halsey, Die For You. And it seems, I hope she's just referring to how much anxiety Violet has with Xaden in the beginning because he had lied to her and she doesn't know if she should trust him. But I am getting serious anxiety that it actually means that something's gonna happen between them that's not good. That he's gonna end up not being trustworthy. Anyone else having this anxiety?
All right, I have read a huge chunk today. Well, huge chunk for me. I had a day off and I couldn't just read today, but I did get a huge portion. I'm going to read a little more before bed. But so much has happened. More with Dane. Still don't know what to trust with that. And so much happened. Too much. So I'm not going to go over all of it right now for any reactions, but I just hit up against part 2. And here we go into part 2. I think I mentioned that there's a lot more spice and sex in this one. I felt like the last one had sex in it, but I don't feel like it was a lot. And then I just got to a scene with the throne. For those who know. And I was already had, several sex scenes. So I was like, damn, there's a lot more sex in this one. I don't think I would have predicted this, and I don't know how much I really like it per se, but yeah, there is a cat fight between Violet and, I just realized that's a pun. Yeah, so that's happening. I just read the chapter before the last. I just think I am in shock. Was not expecting that. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, I need to process what I just read.
Hey guys, it's the next day and I have a couple of updates. I got so much reading done yesterday. I'm now on chapter 40. Oh, hold on. Oh, it is so sunny. But I am now on chapter 40 of Iron Flame, and this book has picked up so much. I was extremely frustrated in the beginning with Violet acting like she's mad at Xaden, and the distance between those two, the tension and stuff. Like, I don't like that. I don't know, like, y'all that love slow burn romances, please, like, let me know how you do it. There's gotta be a secret to that shit, because I couldn't stand it. I just was so frustrated with Violet being so distant from Xaden, like, after everything they've been through and how much they love each other, and for her to sit there and just try to deny everything, push down her feelings when he's trying so hard. It just was so infuriating. But they have reconciled, I guess you could say. Violet is closing the distance between them, so everything's good. And the novel has picked up so much. I love this world. I love these characters, and I feel so much better reading the book now. It's going by so much faster, and I literally can't put the book down. I just am enjoying myself so much. So I'm on chapter 40. So much has happened, and there's so much more to come, but there's so much has happened in the book already, and that's only about, I guess, 60% of the way in. So the only thing I will say, the only thing that's bothering me a little bit about the book now is the fact that Violet always wants to blame herself for everything. Like, she's always talking about how everything is her fault, and I feel like at some point she needs to just recognize that it's not all her fault that people are dying. She is not killing people. the evil entity, the bad guys in this book are the ones hurting and killing people. And some of Violet's decisions have put some people in danger, but she's also saved a lot of people, and it's not her fault. Like I said, she's not the one actually killing people, so it's really bothersome to me that she keeps every chapter, it's like, oh, this is my fault, oh, this is my fault, oh, this is my fault. I'm just kind of like, girl, it's really not your fault. Just stop and focus on doing what you can do, because it's getting old. But guys, this book is so good. I can't wait to finish it. I might try to finish it today because I can't put this book down. I am putting it down for now because, and this is the second thing I wanted to talk about, I am at a Barnes & Noble. I'm coming here to pick up a book, and I have been eyeing this book for a long time, and I went to get it from the store that's closest to my house, but they were sold out, so I thought, oh crap, I probably have lost my chance to get this book. It is a Barnes & Noble special edition of Songbird and Snakes, the prequel for Hunger Games, and it's got the purple cover, and I've really been wanting this, and I've had my eye on it for a while, but I just have dragged my foot on buying it because I've been buying so many other books lately, and like, I'm not gonna go on a book buying ban because I thrift my books and I find books at my library a lot for like $1 or $2, or I go to like half price books or something. Like, I shop around a lot for the books, so I'm not gonna be someone that goes on a book buying ban and just not buy a book, because if I come across a book that I want and it's $1 or $2, I'm gonna buy it. That's just that simple. I can not do a book buying ban, but I am trying to not buy brand new books because there's a lot coming out that I want to get, and I have, oh my gosh, you guys, I probably have 100 books on my physical TBR that I need to read, and I keep starting series and buying all these other books, and I need to stop because I really, really want to read the books on my physical TBR. So, but we are here today to get, the Barnes & Noble edition, the purple paperback copy of the prequel to Hunger Games, because I don't want it to sell out before I can get a copy of it. So that's what we're doing, and of course I'm going to bring you guys along with me. It is a Tuesday, so the new releases will be put out today, so I'm going to take a look at the new releases just to see if there's anything that has been on my radar that might have released today that I'm unaware of or something, but I'm trying not to buy anything else. So here we go. The fantasy section. I'm not planning on buying anything, but it doesn't hurt to look, right? Look, you guys, if If you like the Inheritance games, Barnes & Noble has a special edition hardback with sprayed edges. I wasn't a huge fan of the Inheritance games, so I'm not gonna buy this book, but I just thought I'd let y'all know. Hey, hello, hi y'all. It's the next day, it's early morning. I am in line at Dunkin' to get some coffee. But I wanted to jump on here real quick to update you guys. I got a lot of reading done yesterday. I'm in the middle of chapter 56 right now, and I just have like a pit in my stomach about this book, and I just wanted to jump on here and talk about it. I did not like in the beginning the distance between Violet and Xaden, and about around part 2, that distance is closed a little bit. Violet starts, trusting Xaden again and everything's been pretty good, it felt like. But I've had a nagging worry ever since Dane has come back into the story. And if you've read ACOTAR, you know what happened between the first 2 books in that series. So I've been a little bit worried. And I'm really worried because I'm invested in Violet and Xaden's relationship. I feel like for me, their relationship is as integral to this story, to this book, as dragons or magic. So like without dragons or magic, the story wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't be as interested or invested in the story. And I feel the same way about the relationship. If they aren't together, or if they, if they're not together, I don't know how else to say it. I don't want to spoil anything, but if they end up not being together and this book goes along kind of the path that ACOTAR did in the beginning, I don't know if this story is going to keep me as invested. I just don't know if I can continue loving the books and investing in the story and reading the story if this part of the book is taken away from me. And I know everything turned out okay with ACOTAR, perfect, but I feel like these books have built their relationship up so much, and they just seem so perfect together that if they're not together, the books just aren't going to be the same. That's just my opinion. I am hoping that this is just the roller coaster of emotions that Rebecca Yarros is trying to put us through with this book, and everything is going to end up being okay, which is my hope, and I really think it's going to go that way, but if it doesn't, I'm going to be so disappointed.
It's time for my final thoughts on Iron Flame, but first I am going to talk about the extra chapters that we got a chance to read. Xaden's point of view. There were 2 chapters in Fourth Wing that when she released the holiday edition, which is gorgeous, by the way. It's so pretty. I love it so much. So the 2 chapters that she released were chapter 9, and I'm forgetting the other one, and chapter 16. So chapter 9, you see Xaden's point of view when they are fighting on the mat and sparring, and I'm glad that it's obviously before you get to the end of the book, because when you're seeing Xaden's point of view, he lets slip the biggest spoiler, or the biggest spoiler there is. He talks about what the cliffhanger ends up being in Fourth Wing. And then the other chapter is you get a big dose of Xaden feeling attracted to Violet, which I really enjoyed, him talking to his dragon, which I don't know how to pronounce that. Is it Seigel? I didn't look it up before I said that. So you see him sparring with his dragon and bantering, I should say, and talking about his attraction to Violet, and he is witnessing the kiss between Dane and Violet, and He is obviously very jealous, and I just thought it was interesting, the two glimpses of Xaden's point of view that we got in this Fourth Wing beautiful holiday edition. So let's get to Iron Flame. As you saw from everything that I recorded, especially the first half of it, I loved it so much. I couldn't wait to read it. We've been waiting for a little bit, even though now we're going to be waiting way too long for the third one. And I got to the second part of it, and it felt like it slowed down, and I felt like it got very repetitive for me. And I know I was slowing my reading down because I was fearful that something dramatic was going to happen, or something, you know, some death was going to occur, or something was going to happen. So I was kind of like, you know, tiptoeing almost. But I felt like it also just wasn't going very quickly, the writing itself. Because even when I was reading it, it just felt, I don't know, it just felt slow to me. And then the final two chapters, I recorded my reaction right away after I read, you know, the big spoiler of what happens with Xaden. And still kind of shocked by the turn of events with Xaden. And I know a lot of people are theorizing online. I read a lot of comments, a lot of things out there about what may be occurring, what we may have missed in the reading of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. But something kept like scratching at my brain when I was reading Iron Flame. This didn't happen during Fourth Wing. And I was talking to a coworker of mine about this. I haven't said it to Amanda yet, so she's going to hear it through editing the video. But I think it was some of the battle scenes just felt so familiar to me, and I was like, what is this reminding me of? And it popped into my brain, Star Wars. I was like, these are like the battle scenes that, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. And I thought, okay, a lot of these battles are really reminding me of Star Wars. And a lot of the action sequences in general were reminding me of things that happened throughout all of Star Wars, because there's obviously been a lot of Star Wars sequels after the original three, which are the best three, but that's for another video, another argument. And then it hit me after I thought that, because it was very brief. I didn't really think too much of it. It wasn't like I was thinking, oh, she's, you know, mimicking or trying to copy Star Wars or anything like that. But then I realized, it hit me, that the dragon bond that they have and how they talk with their dragons is so much like the Force in Star Wars. It just like hit me. I was like, oh my God, I think Rebecca is a Star Wars fan, because it just felt so obvious to me. So I will put in the evidence, but yes, she is a Star Wars fan. She's very influenced by Star Wars, as I found out, and I was very amused by this. I'm not accusing her of saying that she is mimicking Star Wars or that she's trying to steal the Star Wars story, but I think it hit me when the sage in the robes, because it's like a Jedi, and the sage is like the dark Jedi, the Sith, and you know, I almost feel like there's this good and evil that's happening. And the Force was reminding me of the bond with the dragons and how they're able to reach out through their bond, just like a la Luke Skywalker or Leia, and find how someone's doing through the Force or communicating through the Force. And the sage just really hit me when I realized just how much there is an influence from Star Wars. So I am very happy about that because I am a huge Star Wars fan and I am enjoying that part of it. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that are differently. It's not like dragons or in Star Wars or anything like that. And when me and my coworker Allie were talking about the Star Wars influence, she said, I swear to God, if Xaden ends up being Violet's brother, I don't think she's gonna do that. She has said Violet and Xaden are endgame. Now, how that happens after what happened at the end of this book, who knows? Because they were even talking about, is there a cure? And I don't know what road they're gonna go on in the next book or for the rest of the series, but she has said that Xaden and Violet are endgame. I always thought, yes, they're going to have a rough road, and obviously they are doing relationship trust things that have happened, and I thought maybe they're just going to have normal relationship issues. They might get separated again, you know, someone gets kidnapped or something like that. But no, she took it way down another road, and apparently he's a Sith now. Sorry, I had to. So I did enjoy it. I definitely enjoyed Fourth Wing better. This one I felt like the middle part was just too much or something. I don't know. It's just, maybe it's me. Maybe I don't normally read fantasy that often. When me and Allie were talking, she said, yeah, she felt the same way with the middle. And a lot of the comments I saw online were saying that, oh, by the way, when I was looking up Rebecca Yarros and if she was a Star Wars fan, I did run into one post on a Facebook group that saw the same thing I did and said, I think that person compared it to Anakin Skywalker, though. I don't remember exactly how. That wasn't exactly how I thought of it, but it still was a Star Wars reference that someone else got, and I'm sure there are other people out there. I don't know if you've read the book and you're watching this and you are a Star Wars fan. Do you see the same things? Did you see the similarities? So I did enjoy it. I definitely can't wait for the third one or the rest of them. I don't even think she's started yet. She has said in interviews that she's really trying to lay low and to take care and rest because a lot of this has been hard on her. I just saw a recent post from her, unfortunately, that people are really stalking her, trying to get her to sign books because they're going for so much money online, like eBay and such. And she's with her family, and people are like jumping out at her at like airports and asking her to sign books so they can sell them, which is ridiculous. So I think she's gonna try and calm down from all the hype that has happened and probably get to a good place where she can write it. And it seems like she is writing pretty fast, but I also want her to take her time because I want it to be good. And I don't know what her editor is doing with her books, but I really hope they're not like whipping through the process to get it out into the world so that people are buying them. I don't want to think about that. So, yeah, so I did really enjoy it. Not as much as Fourth Wing. I'm trying not to compare them, but I feel like Fourth Wing just went so fast and I loved it so much and I didn't have really any complaints about it. And this one just felt a little slow in the middle. So that was disappointing. But all in all, I did love it. I thought it was a really great book. It's a great experience too, going to the midnight party. I showed a little clip of the countdown that was at the Barnes & Noble, and it's just to be around all of those fans. There were about, I don't know, 100, 200 people there, and the energy that this book has reminds me of the Harry Potter series and how much people just acclimated to these books and just want to live it out and talk about them. And I love that kind of energy around books. So what are your thoughts? Did you feel the same way? I have a feeling Amanda liked it more than I did. She seemed really hyped up about it, and I think she even read it twice. She might probably read it 3 times by this point because it's taken me a little while to record this. But I'm pretty sure she loved this a lot, like way more than probably I did. It's not that I didn't like it. It was just not as pleasurable as Fourth Wing was for me. And I just felt like it went a little slow in the middle.
I finished Iron Flame last night, and I really wish I had recorded myself reading the book so you could have seen some of my reactions, because the end of this book just... and I've been trying to think about what I can say about this book without giving away spoilers, and there's really nothing as far as plot goes that I want to talk about, because I don't want to spoil this book. If you've read Fourth Wing, you really need to read Iron Flame. In some ways, it is so much better than Fourth Wing. In some ways, I didn't enjoy it as much as Fourth Wing, but we're going to talk about that. So I think I'm just going to explain my emotions. This was an emotional roller coaster. I have never been so invested in a book or a relationship in a book. The characters, the relationship between Violet and Xaden, I'm just kind of surprised at how invested I am in their relationship and how much I just want them to be together. And you know, even the feelings for Violet's friends and the other characters of the book, I just love them all in their own little way, and I really have not had that kind of attachment to any books that I can think of like this. I did love A Court of Silver Flames in the ACOTAR series. I just really fell in love with Nesta's character, and I loved the character development in that story, in that book. And that book has really made that series great for me, but it really was not close to the emotions that I felt reading Iron Flame. In the beginning of this book, I would say the first maybe 30%, I was a little disappointed. I felt kind of indifferent. It was kind of hard to get into. I felt a little detached from Violet. I did not like the fact that she was like upset with Xaden. I've already talked about on the schedule. It's not really a spoiler. It's in the beginning of the book. So I was like not happy with the distance that she was putting between herself and Xaden. That really upset me. And then when part 2 comes around in the book, things started really picking up. There was a lot more action. You learn a lot about dragons in this book. So I would say in the beginning, my emotions were kind of, this is not turning out as good as Fourth Wing. I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little upset with Violet. But then things started turning around. I started feeling more happy with the book, more happy with the way the book was progressing. I was really excited again about the dragons and hearing about them and their magic and their past and how their magic is linked to this world. The dragons in this book are amazing. The information with the dragons is amazing. The battle scenes with the dragons are amazing. So the dragons are amazing. Things started picking up. And then I got really nervous. Really worried about the fate of Violet and Xaden's relationship, and the book became more romancy and a little more revolving around their relationship as opposed to the war and the battles and the fights that are going on and the action in the book, which really isn't something that I enjoy. I don't enjoy romance books, or like the whole plot is the romance between the two characters. It's not something I really enjoy. So I was like feeling this is a little too romancy for me, and then I just got really nervous and upset and scared for the outcome of Violet and Xaden, for their health and their well-being and their relationship. And then at the end, you're obviously left on a cliffhanger. If you've read Fourth Wing, then you know that these books leave you on a cliffhanger, and it's really unsettling to me that you're left on a cliffhanger and You don't know when the third book is going to come out. There is no expected release date even listed at all for the third book. We don't know the title. We don't know anything about the third book. There's nothing. All we know is that there's going to be like 5 books, I think, in this series. And I don't even know if we're going to get the third book in 2024, which is a little unsettling. And I'm still a tiny bit worried about Violet and Xaden's relationship. And you are unsure about the fate of these characters and what's going to happen to them. And that's all I got to say about that at the end. And I hope that you guys read this book. I enjoyed this book. I did give it 5 stars on Goodreads. No, the book was not perfect to me. And normally when I rate a book 5 stars, one of the criteria is there's perfect, there's nothing I would change about it. That's not necessarily true for me in this book, but I had to give it 5 stars because of all the emotions that it pulled out of me, like no other book I've ever read. It was an emotional roller coaster for me, this book. And if you wanted a wild ride of emotions, this is the book for you. You have to read Fourth Wing first. And I actually wish I had reread Fourth Wing before Iron Flame. I read Fourth Wing like 7 months ago, and I thought that I remembered everything very clearly, but this book, you get a lot more information about this world, like dragon names, like whose dragons are bonded to what riders. There's a lot of stuff, like little details that I'd forgotten, and I really wish I had read Fourth Wing again before reading this. So I'm actually rereading Fourth Wing right now. I read multiple books at a time, so it's really not that big of a deal for me to read little bits of Fourth Wing here and there. I'm rereading Fourth Wing, and I'm going to reread Iron Flame while I'm also reading other books, just to keep my memory fresh and remember things. Like when you reread a book and you know some of the outcomes, then you can see some of the foreshadowing easier. So I want to pick up on some of that. And then depending on how much further out the third book is, depending on how soon the third book is released, I will probably reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame again right before the third book comes out, because I want all of that to be fresh. I don't want to be stumbling over names or dragons' names, or which dragon goes with which rider, or what signets, what powers the other riders have. I think they're called signets in the book, or the powers. I don't have to worry about trying to remember all that stuff. I want it to be fresh in my head, so I will probably reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame again when the third book comes out, depending on how far out that is. But yes, you guys got to read this book, and I cannot really wait for the third book to come out. There was a point where I was thinking, God, if this goes a certain direction that I'm thinking it might go, I'm probably not going to even finish the series because I can't take it. It's going to ruin the book for me. But I think the way this ended, I don't have a choice. I have to read the next book as soon as it comes out. So as soon as it's ready for pre-order, I'll probably pre-order it and get my name on that list for a copy of the third book, whatever it's going to be titled and whenever it's going to come out.
So what do you guys think? Love to have some theories out there if you want to share them with us. I know Amanda was really wanting to talk about theories about what's going to happen. I'm not going to go into that rabbit hole right now because I have seen some crazy things out there, and I would love to hear some other thoughts. But those are my thoughts on Iron Flame, and until next time.